Nothing quite like service, is there? Of course, there are all kinds of service. That single word means different things at different times to different people. Yes, service can mean a lot of things. It can also mean this. Now, what does a link have to do with service? Well, that's exactly what this film is all about. It's the story of one particular link, one that means a very special and valuable kind of service. Yes, this is the story of the Golden Link. That's right. You're looking at the Golden Link. It's a ship. In fact, a system of ships linking the east and the west across the waters of Lake Michigan. One of the most unique railroad operations in the world. It's the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway's train ferry. Chances are you already know something about it, but since it's a service that saves both time and money, we'd like to show you exactly what it is, how it operates, and just what it means to shippers and travelers. So let's take a closer look now at the Golden Link. The Chesapeake and Ohio Railway, one of the nation's leading railroads, provides a most unusual service with its shortcut water route across Lake Michigan. A fleet of 7 specially designed ships carrying every conceivable type of cargo makes regular scheduled trips to link the railroad routes between the east and the west. Operating the year round, this train ferry service literally bridges Lake Michigan with its fast, direct routes between Ludington, Michigan, and the Wisconsin ports of Milwaukee, Manitowoc, and Kewaunee. Each water route directly ties the C&O with connecting rail lines. At Kewaunee, for example, the Green Bay and Western Railroad is the connecting line to the C&O train ferry route. At Manitowoc, it's the Sioux Line and the Chicago Northwestern. At Milwaukee, the Sioux Line, the Chicago Northwestern, and the Milwaukee Road all connect with the C&O. Thus, in every case, a natural straight-through route from east to west and west to east is provided. And what's the word for it? Take your pick. Service, dependability, speed. A savings in time that adds up to more profitable shipments any and every day of the year. Plus, relaxing and carefree travel for passengers. Yes, this in short is the role of the train ferry. The service that links east and west, that ties rails together across miles of open water. Paper, autos, lumber, chemicals, beer, cement, you name it. And chances are the train ferry carries it, and carries it fast. From west to east, east to west, a constant movement, the year round, round the clock, the fastest way, shortest distance between 2 points. Think of these directs as 3 bridges across Lake Michigan, and the value of the Golden Link leaves no room for doubt. Grain products, for example, moving eastward via the train ferry, clip miles off the trip, save 24 hours, sometimes more. Similarly, iron and steel moving westward from Pittsburgh or any eastern point saves the same time when moving via the shortcut train ferry route. In the winter months, this savings becomes even more realistic and desirable, for the C&O train ferries operate the year round. They do not share in the problems and delays encountered by other transportation methods during bad weather. Fair weather or foul, the train ferries keep on the move. To help them deliver the goods, special purpose freight cars of every conceivable type are used. Requirements of the shipment, such as weight, Fragility, size, and other factors determine which particular car will be used. Often, cars are specially designed to meet a customer's need. Here, for example, is an insulated refrigerator car that serves many shippers, being loaded at the point of origin. If it's facts and figures a shipper is after, they're not hard to come by. C&O traffic representatives work closely with shippers to check out every possible detail, provide any needed information. Some shippers are often surprised to hear that the train ferry operates the year round, and that it pays off for them too. And after all, why shouldn't it? Speed, economy, and dependability make good sense in any man's language. Well, it looks like that special shipment of ours is already on its way. In this instance, we have a special load of canned goods going direct from upstate New York to Fargo, North Dakota, via the C&O train ferry. At Ludington, Michigan, where east meets west because of the train ferry, many long trains such as this arrive daily. Here, each shipment is swiftly classified in the freight yard, lined up according to precise schedules that assure each freight car will be ready for loading directly onto the ship. There's a real knack to doing this job the right way, and the men who do it take a real pride in it. Actual loading of a train ferry takes only 20 to 30 minutes. These ships are big, too. They have to be to handle the odd size and unusual types of shipments they carry. Each of the 7 ships in the fleet easily handles up to 30 freight cars, including our special car of canned goods being loaded now. During lake transit, special rail clamps are used to eliminate possibility of shifting. And by the way, notice the extreme height between decks? There's 18 feet of clearance there. Ample space for the most unusual size load. Yes, there's a lot of ship here. Well over 400 feet of it. All told, it's one of the largest and finest ships of its type in the world. But as you can see, although freight is the really big part of the service, it still is only part of it. Every year, more than 50,000 automobiles and 175,000 passengers cross Lake Michigan via the train ferry. Besides freight cars, the train ferry can carry 60 automobiles on the car deck and special auto deck. As for those passengers, you'll find them ready and eager to board a C&O train ferry for a pleasant escape from driving, or just a restful, relaxing few hours of cruising. And like as not, you'll spot the one who's always late for the ships that always leave on time. Yes, every trip is a fun trip for the many passengers on board. You can be as active as you like, enjoying the complete freedom of the train ferry deck, or, like this fellow, enjoying life in his own sweet way. Whatever your tastes, all the cruising comforts of a modern liner are yours to enjoy as a passenger on the C&O train ferry. of a fully loaded train ferry about 18 miles per hour. And from below decks in the engine room to the ship's nerve center in the pilot house, all hands turn to making it the smoothest, safest trip in the world. Day or night, summer. In all, it takes some 700 men to keep the C&O train ferry fleet operating. An experienced captain is in charge of each ship. To assist him, every C&O ship carries the most modern navigating equipment, from gyro compasses to the most sensitive radar and electronic gear. Modern communications equipment enables each ship to maintain constant contact with other ships and with shore installations. Behind the scenes, there is still another continuous operation going on. This is CLIC. CLIC, the short term for C&O's Car Location Information Center, is the latest method for providing minute-by-minute data on the location of every freight car in use throughout the system, including our special car. Whether on C&O ship or rail, CLIC knows exactly where your freight car is and when it's going to arrive. A vast electronic teletype network, CLIC connects 258 points all over the country to keep track of every movement the year round. Well, that's one more trip for the records. The port destination could be here at Manitowoc. Or it could be Kewanee. Or again, it could be Milwaukee. Whatever the case, it means one more train ferry load of freight, automobiles, and passengers right on schedule, with no ifs, buts, or maybes. Yes, afloat or ashore, there's nothing like progress. Doing things just a bit better each time you do them. Mighty slick operation, I'd say. Sure a pleasure to watch. Of course, as always, it's the doing that counts. Hauling that freight straight across the lake, saving real valuable time and meeting schedules regardless of weather. Each ship makes some 1,000 crossings a year. Each crossing carefully integrated with C&O land operations to keep those freight shipments on the move. Add it all up, and service is about the only word I know that really describes it, I'd say. Right here, just on this one ship, there's about 1,000 tons of freight, all set to continue on its way by rail. Yes, sir, there's a lot of variety there, just about every type of shipment you can think of, including that special car of ours. See it? Rolling right along. It'll keep on moving, too. After all, that's the way C&O saves real time and money for shippers. Get it there fast. At Jones Island, Milwaukee, for example, C&O has consolidated operations to connect with 3 different railroad lines. With all activities under C&O supervision, speedy interchange saves more time on the shortcut train ferry route. And it sure makes sense. Every carload, every shipload moving between Ludington and Milwaukee, Kewanee and Manitowoc. And every load getting where it's going much faster, any day of the year. Still, it's all in the day's work for the C&O Railway. Believe me, the C&O train ferry is a mighty important part of it. Yes, any way you look at it, it does a job, a good job. That's why the train ferry, the link between the East and the West, means service. That's why it can save you time and money. In short, that's why it can be a golden link for you.